Hi, Achim here, InnerSpace Explorers. Initially, I wanted to do something completely different today, but there's this post in this SiteMount forum, and I just read through it, and I felt this is perfect. So as you can see, I put the proper t-shirt on for this. It actually says problem solved. And I put it on because it highlights my bad character, which you will learn a bit more about during this video. So as some of you know, I try to do at least one liveaboard trip a year for people that like to dive with me, patrons, followers, whatever. And so when I put the offer out describing the ship and where we go and when we go, etc., etc., it says no alcohol. And a friend of mine, Timo, who's by the way the gentleman who made this awesome new website for InnerSpace Explorers, if you haven't seen it, check it out, tried to help filling it and posted the initial offer on a forum in Germany. And he told me about it and then sent me a link and said, you need to read through this. And I did, and that was a pretty interesting experience. So I learned a lot about myself and I wanted to share this with you. And I mean, as the title of the video indicates, alcohol and diving, and alcohol especially on a liveaboard. And I know this will be one of the super controversial videos, and I'm extremely curious on your opinion. So please let me know. So I just printed out the most interesting or the most hilarious comments on this forum, and we'll read you through these and then we'll talk a little bit about it. So as I said, my initial printout says no alcohol. So who knows me a little bit and who's been on tours like that with me knows that that doesn't mean you can't have a beer for dinner. I don't care. Or a glass of wine or whatever. I'm talking about drinking. And I've been on these tours where people brought 5 bottles of whiskey for the week. And that's what I'm saying, no alcohol. But I obviously did not specify that. I just said no alcohol because for me, going on a boat, not drinking alcohol for a week, I mean, I'm not drinking alcohol anyway, but that's neither for religious reasons, and that's actually a good one to point out because I get asked that again and again because people seem to know that I don't drink alcohol. It's not because of health, it's not because of any religious beliefs, it's not because I'm a sober ex-alcoholic or something like that. First of all, I never had joy drinking alcohol, and I have a relatively severe food allergic condition, and fact is that alcohol just brings a lot of histamine in your body, and so if you have a lot of allergic problems, if you don't drink alcohol, actually you have less problems. So that's the simple reason. And before that, yeah, I had a beer for dinner or a glass of wine for a good steak or something like that, but that was all of my alcohol consumption. But just to give you a little bit of the framework here, so to speak. So nevertheless, so this thing was posted in the SiteMount forum, and that was in German, so I actually translated it and printed it out, so it's hanging beneath the camera so I can read it without glasses, so a certain distance to the camera. So somebody wrote like, yeah, probably he did that to avoid dangerous situations in the diving in on board. And the first answer was, dangerous situations because of alcohol is consumed on board. That is pure nonsense. I also appreciate Achim and have enjoyed wonderful dives with him, but now he seems to be losing his mind. Yes, it is his tour, his rules. It is the fault of anyone who allows themselves to be patronized. I don't drink coffee. Do I forbid others from drinking coffee because of that? Never in a million years. Live and let live. Unfortunately, that has been lost even with Achim. We'll come to that. No alcohol is paternalism. Anyone who puts up with that. Everyone should be able to do what he or she wants, but they can't do on this tour. They are being patronized and cannot drink what they want. It's unbelievable what kind of paternalism is now considered normal or even desirable. No alcohol. It's none of my business what other people drink. It's none of other people's business what I drink. Anyone who organizes a tour with a ban of alcohol is patronizing their participants. They are arrogant idiots. Me. Anyone who books something like that is supporting paternalism. Vegan. But otherwise it's okay. It's none of my business what others eat. It's none of their business what I eat. Anyone who demands a vegan tour is an arrogant idiot. By the way, we didn't demand that. It was just one of the other comments. Non-smokers, but otherwise it's okay. It's none of my business whether others smoke. It's none of their business whether I smoke. Anyone who demands a non-smoking tour is an arrogant idiot. I say that as a non-smoker. Coffee. If I were an arrogant idiot, I would demand a tour without coffee. What's next? A tour without women, or without black people, or without people who dive with equipment from brand X? It is simply none of your business whether someone smokes. The magic word is mutual respect, someone wrote. Answer: exactly. Try to stop someone from having alcohol or meat or cigarettes or coffee is super disrespectful. I'd never do that, and I don't accept it from others either. And then somebody wrote, and actually the guy who owns the forum closed it after that. He said, the freedom of the individual ends where the freedom of others begin. All right. I found it super funny, and I want to give you a little bit of history. So first of all, as I said before, I don't drink alcohol. I never did drugs or anything. I just like to be in control. And in my very young age, so being 14, 15, being very much into music, hanging out with all the guys that played in several bands, and me participating in some of these band activities as well, saw a couple of people actually dying from drug abuse. So in fact, the drummer of this one band that I used to play in, I found him in a toilet, in a club, with a needle in his arm, passed away. So that showed me personally from a very early age that I don't want to be involved in something like that, that I don't want that. It probably was good. It was a hard experience, but probably was a very good experience. And the same goes with alcohol. I actually lost one of my closest friends to alcohol, and realized I couldn't help him. And that was pretty hard. So, but beside from all of that, and that is all out of diving. That's just my personal opinion in life, no matter if I would be diving or not. That's the decision I took for myself. And as I said before, I don't care if you drink a beer in the evening or a glass of wine in the evening or 2 glasses of wine in the evening. What I don't like is excessive drinking, so getting out of control. And I don't like people getting out of control and doing stupid things. Especially if their behavior affects others or myself. So it's the same with religion or sexual preference, or, I mean, you name it. Do whatever you want, but don't affect others. So now when we put this into diving, there's this funny comment, the comparison with the coffee. I mean, how stupid can you be? So if you get drunk on this liveaboard, and you get in the water, and you hurt yourself, or you kill yourself, the tour's over for everybody. As simple as that. And if you've been on a tour like that, and it doesn't matter what the reason was, somebody got hurt or killed himself, tour's over. So this one person actually makes it miserable for everybody else. The next thing is, would you as a diver want to dive with somebody who fails to fulfill the minimum requirements of responsibility as a dive partner? I wouldn't want to. And me being the organizer of a tour, I don't want a person to team up with one of my other guests and endanger that person because he's not fully functional, right? And again, I don't care if you drink a can of beer or a bottle of beer for your dinner and then go to sleep and next morning go to dive. I have a problem with people getting drunk beyond any limits and then in the morning somehow finding their way in the water, because this is dangerous for themselves. And then I can tell you what happens. This idiot drowns, and it will be, oh, he was on Achim's tour. It's Achim's responsibility. He was on this liveaboard that Achim organized. There was an ISE liveaboard, and this guy drowned. So it's their responsibility. He was on the boat with them. Well, perfect. That's exactly what I need. So obviously I don't want that. I mean, you can't drive a car when you're drunk. So is this paternalism? Is this bad from the state to not allow you to drive drunk? No, it's not. It's to protect everybody else from this one idiot who drives drunk and hurts or kills somebody else. And it's the same here. And then came this funny thing with the smoking. So have you ever been, and this is particular for the guy who wrote that, have you ever been on a boat that is burning with people locked in cabins burning alive? Have you been? Have you seen it? I don't want to go deeper into that, but the smoking on a boat, for me, generally, is a complete no-go. I even hate it when people stay outside and smoke, because there's so much shit that can burn. And actually, when people always think a boat going down is the worst thing that can happen, a boat burning or an aircraft burning, that's the worst thing that can happen, because you can go nowhere. And I had the unfortunate experience to recover people from a boat that went down with people inside that burned. And I can tell you, not what you want to experience. And therefore, I didn't even write something from no smoking. I mean, first of all, ISE is a non-smoking organization. This is not even for only ISE divers. But I think that everybody that comes to a boat like that should have enough common sense to not set it on fire. So the smoking thing, I didn't even mention it. I mean, it should be crystal clear. And I don't want to go any deeper into that. I want to hear your opinion, please. And if it's completely opposite to mine, that's completely fine. I don't want you to like, yeah, Achim, you're right. Tell me what you think. Tell me. And because I know this question is coming up, somebody will like, how do you come up with somebody bringing 5 bottles of whiskey for a week of diving? Because I've seen it. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, a lot of times. People go to these safaris to party and drink and dive a little bit. And that was when I was still participating in other safaris and other liveaboard things where I just booked a spot. And I always hated it. And that was actually one of the reasons why I at some point started to organize my own. Because I wanted the way I wanted. My rules. And I want my people to have a lot of fun and to be safe. And that's what I try to achieve with these rules. So let me know. I'm super curious. And if you think I'm an arrogant asshole patronizing people, let me know in the comment section. I'm completely open to that. So nevertheless, I hope you find this interesting. Looking forward to what you have to say. And the next rebreather video is actually already done and will be released soon. It's actually already online for my patrons. So stay tuned. This will come soon. Take care. Bye-bye.